Hi, everybody. Thank you so much for joining me. My name is Rajith, and I am with One Illumined Heart. This is my second video, and I've decided to do it outside on this beautiful April day of April 15th, U.S. Tax Day. So, I want to welcome all of you beautiful beings of love and light. All of us are amazing, amazing people, and we can lift our frequency by our choices. And I would love to help you do that. So, today we're going to talk about the Great Awakening, which is happening right now. I have notes so that I stay on track. Otherwise, I'm going to diverge and will never find myself way back here. So, where we are right now is we are on a bridge going from third dimensional frequency into fifth dimensional frequency. It's literally a reality that is based on love and on light. So it's kind of like, for me, at least when I'm seeing this with my clients over the last few years, when we're moving them up in frequency, it's kind of like the divine is having a coming out party for all of us to wake up and embrace the beauty of who we each are individually and who we are collectively. There's an invitation for all of humanity to move into this fifth dimensional reality. There are some things that are requirements, and it's up to you and I to make the choice. Are we going to do these requirements? Are we going to do what it's going to take to get us into the right frequency, to move us into that dimensional reality where we can have a life that is based on love? All right. So, what is it? What are the prerequisites? All right. So, here we go. Hello, my kitty just arrived. Hi, Ender. So it's co-creating a new reality based on love. The prerequisites is that we hold the energy of compassion, of kindness for one another, of generosity, that we choose to have a reverence for all of life, and that we choose to be in harmony with our brothers and sisters, wanting the best for the collective, not the best just for the few, but the best for the many. It's about embracing brotherhood and love in ourselves, with one another, animals, plant life, reverence for the air that we breathe, for the water that flows, for the water that sustains us. And remember, we're 70% water. So when we have toxic water, our bodies become toxic. So these are all about choices that we want to make on a personal and collective level of how to lift humanity up and experience a new world. So I've been doing a lot of meditation for quite a long time, and I've had a lot of downloads, kind of like a computer, right? Um, and in these downloads, they've been showing me that this is a world that is based on love and light sound frequencies. And I was shown this, well, actually for the last year off and on, that there are, in this new fifth dimensional frequency, there's going to be 3 light languages that are going to be used. They're called languages of love. They will not be based on duality. They will be based on love. And at the end of this particular video, hopefully, God grace, I will share with you one of the love languages. I will speak in it and then tell you what it is that I've said in this new language that has been downloaded into me. All of us are going to be able to speak these 3 languages. And that's 3, not 4, Ingrid. So in these love languages, we'll be able to communicate with each other, with all of humanity, because no matter which language that someone speaks, we're all going to be connected. It's not going to be like it is today with hundreds and hundreds of languages around the world that separate humanity from one another because we can't talk to each other. The one universal language has been music and sound. The other universal language is light, color, that speaks to us, art that speaks to us, because it's a language of a different kind of a frequency. Okay, so yep, so we are there. Okay, so it may come as a surprise to all of you, or some of you, that this great awakening was actually planned about 6,000 years ago. Humanity kind of got to a different crossroads at that time, moving from whatever the dimensional frequency was into its own three-dimensional frequency of a new creation the ability to go from farming, to the huge technology revolution that we have at this moment in time. And so we've been given some free will in this department, and in this free will, we have done some really wonderful positive creations, and we've done some pretty drastic bad ones, as we can see with the exploitation of our environment, the exploitation of human beings, the exploitation of animals. So we've made some pretty gross mistakes as well as some beautiful creations. And all of us have the opportunity to go and expand that beautiful self that we really are. So let's talk about this awakening that was planned 6,000 years ago. Most of you may be aware that on April the 4th and the 5th of this year, we had a Jupiter and Pluto conjunction. Now, I'm not an astrologer. I know very little about astrology, but I knew enough to know that it was really, really important. And in my inner conversations with my guides, I was told that this was a very important marking in time, in our time frame. It is literally a set point that is anchoring the opportunity for the gateway to five-dimensional frequency to open. And it literally supports this opening. So if you are interested in wanting to learn more about this conjunction and about how planets impact where we are spiritually and what opportunities are there spiritually as well as in the world, how things change, I would highly recommend that you go to connect with your own personal astrologer, or that you connect with people on YouTube that might be good. I would try to find people with that are pretty anchored in, grounded in the truth of what it is that they're doing. Use your discernment and use what feels where you resonate, to find out more information if that's interesting to you. So, as I said, the gateway set point has been anchored. Now, I was told on my within for quite a long time now that April the 25th, that's this year, April the 25th, the literal opening to the portal of the fifth dimensional frequency is going to open at 4 a.m. Greenwich Mean Time, and that would be 8 p.m. April 24th in the Pacific time zone. I think it is. I think we're about 8 hours apart. So, how do I know this? I just know this from the inside. I have beautiful guides, and so far they've been pretty accurate with me about they've always been accurate. The receiver may not have always been hearing it correctly. So I am wired, literally, all, different intuitive psychics, people who are clairvoyant, clairaudient, clairsentient. We're all wired a little bit differently. We're all wired to receive information in a particular way. And God, there's some beautiful healers and teachers that I've worked with over the years that are very exciting, and they all have a different kind of like piece of the pie that they're sharing in terms of this holistic creation that we have here. I've been wired to receive things numerically with percentages. And in the beginning, it flustered me because I'm like, why am I getting all these numbers? I would hear when I would be working with a client, this particular herb or this particular flower essence or this particular vitamin or mineral or food is X% good for this particular person. And I would go, okay. And then when other people would test, it would be accurate. So I just finally gave up worrying about it and just went with it. But anyway, so I'm wired for that. And what I've been told now since the year 2000 is that there are 33.5 million light workers that have been committed to bringing healing, love, and light to this particular planet, to help humanity awaken over these last 6,000 years. And many of us have lived many, many, many lifetimes and have been martyred in 1,000 different ways to try to wake up humanity. From being the good guy down the street, from being a social disruptor, from being someone who could be a healer or a seer or an herbalist, talk to plants, etc., who would then become a threat to their local community, right? And then would have their heads cut off or some other interesting thing. So the reason I'm telling you this is because I've been there and done that and healed all my past lives that I have given to kind of help humanity awaken. And I'm not the only one. There's 33.5 million of us. Now, since this 6,000 year time frame, we have added to this 33.5 million core group of us that committed to the planet 152 million other souls who got it, who said, wow, we need to help focus humanity on love. We need to teach compassion. We need to teach kindness and encouragement. We need to teach integrity and honesty. And we need to teach how to do brotherhood and be cooperative, how to love the environment that we're living in, how to be in appreciation of it, how to work in harmony with it. Much like the Native American Indians worked, in harmony with the land, and so many other cultures across the world that have done that. And unfortunately, in this very technological society that we've come to, we've kind of gotten separated from our connection to the earth, separated from one another. People have been, especially in the United States and Western developed countries, have been very much in their egos about, I'm better than you are, and I don't care if I step on you to get where I'm going. The right house, the right amount of money, the right status, whether it be because of your royalty or whether it be because you have so much money and you have this much power. We've lost the value of who we each are and how to value one another. In this particular crisis that we're having with the COVID-19, I was astonished when the president suggested that we pay the farmers less, the farm workers less in this crisis. This is nuts. Without farm workers and farmers being paid way more than what we're paying them now, we are not going to have food, folks. We need to honor and respect that back-breaking work that these people are doing to make sure that their community, their world, the people that they're serving with their hard work is supported, that they have food to live, to grow, to heal, to be. So I'm actually advocating for all of us to think about finding local farmers, finding farmers who have farm workers that need to be paid more. They deserve to be honored and respected for their work, while the rest of us are watching TV, making YouTube videos, or doing whatever people are doing, having the privilege of being able to do that and expecting food on the table. So I think it's important that we get to the core value. Every single human being is valuable. Everyone has a purpose on the planet, and it all needs to be valued. Even people we disagree with need to be valued. Somebody we are angry with needs to be forgiven. We have to up-level our consciousness so that we can create harmony here on the planet. Okay. So, back to how many millions of us are here to support the healing of humanity. So, the awakening of humanity started 6,000 years ago. In this particular cycle, we have, 184 million and a half of us who are all working together to lift up humanity. There is enough support and enough love and enough awake people out there to support everyone on their growth. Now, the awakened ones are within very beautiful religious disciplines of many different kinds. And I know some people may disagree with me, but as far as I'm concerned, when it comes to religions, I was raised based Christian religion, and I totally love Jesus. And when I was in my 20s, I started exploring, reading about other religions around the world. And the core thread in all of them was to teach about love, about truth, about light, about how to be. And I don't think I ran into a single religion that didn't embrace the idea of forgiveness, that we have to forgive ourselves, forgive one another, forgive our perceptions. So this now is about healing ourselves and our community and our world. So how do we help people raise up their frequency? In order to enter 5D, fifth dimensional frequency, we have, which is based on love, we have to raise up our frequency. Now, I was told this morning before I did this video that 68% of humanity currently is spiritually, we're not talking physical levels, spiritual levels of awakening are between fifth dimension, sixth dimension, and seventh dimensional frequency at this particular time. The rest of us are between 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and 13. It's just pretty high. In order to move into this portal we talked about, we have to have our spiritual consciousness be at 10th dimensional frequency. And you're going, okay, and how do I know where I am? And if I'm not there, if I'm below that, how do I get there? And what's the benefit of all this? Well, when you move into this portal, you will be supported by a whole different light frequency, is what I'm being shown. And I know this is true because I've been watching it in my own life as I've been raising my frequency. The way the universe supports me is so different than when I was in seventh dimensional frequency, because there it was, I felt like it was all up to me, even though, you know, the universe of love was there to support me. You want to call it the creator, God, source, whatever it is. But it was when I moved into 9th and 10th and 11th dimensional frequency that all of a sudden my needs were met much more easily. I'm now no longer in fear around, is there going to be enough for me? Is there going to be enough for my family? I just know that we are taken care of. End of story. Because my embodiment, my consciousness is holding this huge amount of love, this huge amount of light that I'm still working on increasing, to support the love on the planet, to support the love of the people in my life, to support my clients, to support humanity. I love the crows in the background. Sorry. I'm really glad I did this outside. So, when you are in 10th dimensional frequency, you have an opportunity to do something very important. In order to get into the portal, your spiritual embodiment has to have 65% light frequency in this new light body. Some people call it a crystal body. Some people are like, that's just, too weird. So lots of people call them light bodies, and that works. So it's 65%. And yes, so how do you know where you are? Well, unless somebody on the inside has told you, or somebody around you who can see this thing and knows what frequency somebody is, and you've been told, most of us don't know this. I happen to be able to see this. I happen to be able to read this via people's faces, via their sound of their voices. I'm able to figure it out. So what we can do is help you raise your personal frequency once you know what it is, so that you can get yourself to 10th dimensional frequency, so you can begin building your light body. In between now and then, you can raise your frequency. Even what I found is, I worked with somebody really beautiful last week, and this person was in 12th dimensional frequency in terms of their spirituality. They have done hours and hours of meditative work. They have been in service to humanity on the planet. They have given their life in service to love, to teaching, and a really beautiful, honorable person. And then when I looked at the crystal grid of this person, I saw that the crystal grid was really only about 15%. And I asked the universe what the reason was for that. And of course, it had to do with their diet. And so once you get into 10th dimensional frequency, your diet needs to change. And because you're holding that much more light, you don't need the heaviness of flesh foods. And I know that a lot of people are like, well, I can't live without meat, blah, 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 blah. Well, I understand. And for some people, it's a real sticking point. I just want you to know that a lot of my clients, a lot of people that I've worked with, a lot of other people that I haven't worked with but talked to, have shared with me that as they have done meditation work, prayer work, lifting their spiritual frequency, done their devotional practices in their own particular faith, whatever that may be, or a non-faith, and they're just doing a different kind of spiritual work that is non-denominational, and it's lifting their frequency up. They realizing that as they go up in frequency, the heaviness of flesh foods no longer speaks to them, and this moves you toward greater compassion with the earth, greater compassion with animal life. It also gives you the opportunity to build a spiritual body that is made more of light. So the physical body has to start working up toward the spiritual body. So a lot of people who are in 5th, 6th, and 7th dimensional frequency, and even people the 8th and 9th and 10th, many of us have things that we need to forgive in ourselves, in others, in the way the universe is run. So many people don't have as much light as they need because they haven't done much selfless service for others or their environment. They haven't remembered to be grateful for what it is that they have, the love that they have in their lives, the very things that they have in their life, their opportunities at work, their relationships. Lots of people harbor anger, judgment, condemnation. Some people have cursed one another. And I'm guilty of all of the above in doing all of my clearing from past lives, even though I came in very awake to be a helper on the planet. We all get lost in this duality. When you are taught how to forgive and you practice that in many lifetimes, it seems as if the more you're able to forgive, it seems like the negative power on the planet pushes the envelope and gives you one thing that just puts you at the edge of, I can't forgive this. This person has gone past my capacity to give forgiveness to others. And so, hello. And so, we want to be able to do that forgiveness work and clearing ourselves up. So what I'm going to be doing now is offering opportunities for people to join me in classes so that I can do people in groups. I would need to get your picture ahead of time and a voice print so that I know what to tell you in terms of what frequency you are carrying at this moment in time. And then how we go about lifting that frequency. We have to take a look at what's in the way. So I do this in private sessions, and I'm also going to do it in group Zoom sessions. And for people who choose to allow themselves to be vulnerable, because there is probably nobody else, if we were in a classroom situation, who would be, you know, any more pure than the next. We've all made incredible mistakes, and we're all also incredible beings of love and light. And so, what we'll be doing is we'll be lifting people's frequency. We'll be teaching you some principles of how to do this forgiveness work, how to lift your frequency spiritually. What kind of devotional practices can you do? And I'm not advocating for any particular religion. I am advocating that you do your spiritual work, that you do gratitude, that you do selfless service, that you tithe either financially to some place, or if you don't have money, tithe of your own embodiment hours to particular events. I think that that would be fabulous if people were to do that. And I can also help people find the frequency of music, and or perhaps you'd be open to hearing what mantras or chants could be used, or if you have particular ones that are in your faith that you love to use that really speak to your heart, we can test and see, is this one going to work for you? How fast will it assist you in raising your spiritual frequency so you get into 10th dimensional frequency? Now, for those of you who are already in 10th, 11th, or 12th dimensional frequency, but your crystal or light body is in low frequency, then we need to take a look at what needs to be forgiven. What are you hanging on to that you need to let go of? Who or what do you need to uncondemn and uncurse? Is there a change in your diet that is going to be required in order for you to lift your frequency? So all of that will be discussed in future sessions, as well as the private sessions where we can go nitty gritty, either one-on-one or in a group. So you can reach me at info@oneilluminedheart.com, and that one is ONE. Spell out illumined and heart. It'll be at the bottom of my YouTube video information. If you are interested in a Zoom class, I would need to determine what frequency you are in so I can put you in a like frequency group of people. Okay, so that's going to be it for today, everybody. And thank you so much for hanging in there all this time. I promised you that I would speak to you in a light language. So I'm going to go do that now. I love the sun. And so I'm going to just tune in for a second. And why don't you, all of you, do that too? Just take a breath in. Call in your higher self. Get conscious of your connection to the part of you that knows love, that knows the beauty of the existence of this universe and you in it. So I'm going to do a simple little, I think it's going to be a prayer in the love light language. Yomonotoko ai, sate untu, tateyakaya monoso ai, yamanasai. Yomonoso a potomoko aya motoko ayasi. Tete yomono kayatu. Tete ya, tete yomono, somanakai. Teo toto. Atata sayamana. Koto mono asai teo mono kaya pototo asai yomoto. Teya kaya manasai yo. Koto moto asai. Atata teo mono mana. And there you are. Bless you all. From no religion, from all religions. The divine loves you, lives within you. Let's give the divine an opportunity to have a coming up party in us all. Much love. Bye-bye.